Trump's been indicted on 34 felony counts by a grand jury in New York. The current indictment is sealed, so we have no idea what's in it, but as it pertains to paying off Stormy Daniels with campaign funds, trying to hide that, and then committing tax fraud, trying to take a deduction on it at the same time. Just, okay. So, he has to get arrested and fingerprinted and mugshotted and processed and have his first hearing. And DeSantis said, basically wrote kind of an anti-Semitic tweet saying that, George Soros is the one prosecuting him or whatever, and that Florida would not obey interstate fugitive laws and wouldn't extradite him. So it would be kind of funny if he gets indicted too. Chris Collins just saw DeSantis is acting against Florida law by running for public office whilst in public office. Yeah, there's a law in Florida that basically says if you're going to run for another office, you got to quit the current office you're in. I think they presented legislation today to repeal that law so that he can remain governor and ignore the state of Florida and run for president. I personally feel that should just be law in general. Like, if you're going to run for another office, you should leave the current office you're in and then spend the time campaigning just across the board. I don't care what you're running for, school board, governor, senator, president. If you currently hold public office, you have to quit that office, get somebody else in there, and then you can run. I know it's scary. You might lose and you might not have a job to fall back on, but that should be the gamble you take. Hello, like formally charging a political rival before election, not a good look. How about like not committing crimes? Would that be a good look? I mean, I firmly believe if elected officials commit crimes, send them to prison. All of them. I don't care what political party you're a member of. I don't care if I previously liked you. Anthony Weiner. I thought Anthony Weiner was like, oh, that's a pretty good congressman. Turns out he's a complete pervy abuse man. Send him to prison. I have absolutely no loyalty for crappy people. I mean, there's folks who share tweets and videos of a certain guy who was like stalking and harassing women in the 8 movement. And that's where I got my be stronger than your lizard brain from. I was talking about that. So like, I have no problem dropping someone who's a shitty human being. Zero. Like, you're a shitty human being. I can get my DD, my entertainment, my information from somebody else who isn't shitty, because there are people who aren't shitty who can provide the exact same service as you do. I have a hard time trying to like separate the artist from the art, because quite frankly, someone's shitty, they're shitty. So yeah, like, charge Trump. He committed a boatload of crimes. Committed crimes outside of office. He committed crimes in office. Charge him. If you've got evidence that Obama committed crimes, that Clinton committed crimes, that Biden committed crimes, charge them, right? I have zero issue with it. I think people in elected office should be held to a higher standard than everybody else. That's my belief. I think police officers should be held to a higher standard. Yeah, cops that break the law, they can't be cops anymore. Send them to prison, right? There should be no immunity just because you're important. Oh, they're important, therefore they should be allowed to launder campaign funds and pay off porn stars that they're cheating on their wife with, and then try to take a tax write-off off those laundered campaign finance fraud money. Like, your lawyer went to prison for it, dude. He's willing to testify against you. Like, the whole point of like busting underlings is so you can get the person in charge, because the person in charge is like the true criminal. They're the big boss man. And so all the underlings need to point to the big boss man. And that's what's happening here. So like, yeah, bust him, dude. Send him to prison. Gladly. I will dance a jig on this show if he ever gets sentenced.